Yeah. You wait in the makeshift healing dispatcher studios. Kimball tinkers with the array somewhere in the back behind the far wall. It's a humble setup, a stool for Serene, a microphone, a transmitter, a mixer terminal, and the hardline snaking away towards the array. But there's something pleasing about it all the same. Crackling sound of fresh wells echoes through the bay from Kimball's concealed position. You hope the array you struggle to extract isn't getting fried as you wait. You're here, good. Serene rushes in, holding a small dark rectangle in her hand. You will not believe what we have on here. She looks around the bay. Where's Kimball? Installing the array. You mean? Serene smiles. We're going back on here? Before you can answer, she leaps forward, grabbing you in a surprisingly firm hug. Serene lets you go. Sorry, she smiles. Just excited to finally be back. Kimball, she shouts towards the back of the bay. How long for that new array? A muffled shout comes from behind the rear wall. Okay, Serene takes a steady breath. You have a little time. What you got there? This broadcast from Erlin's eye. Serene's eyes flash. We haven't heard anything out of them since the start of the war. Some people even said they have fallen to the flux. But something is happening there. Something is growing. This report says some protocol is taking over the station, becoming its protector. Conway drones can't get close. Senate stat is giving it a wide berth. They're right in the middle of the war. Conway on the starboard side, Senate stat on the sunboard, and they are resisting. Serene smiles. We have to tell everyone in the belt about this. We have to get the word out. If the eye can be held, well, maybe we can hold out too. Serene looks at the drive in her hand. Either way, people need to know. There's a sudden clunk, a few percussive shouts from Kimball, and then a flickering of lights all across the base. The transmitter and array begin powering up. Even Serene watches the helium dispatcher's studio comes to life, ready to broadcast once more. Not bad, Serene leans on your shoulder. Not bad at all. Shout comes from Kimball, and you know he is calling for Serene to get ready. That's my signal, she grins. I almost forgot. Serene produced a handful of shits. Turns out we have some avid listeners in the radius market. He deposits them into your hands. Alright, Serene takes a breath. I need to go live. She flashes at you in a final smile. Thank you. I'll make sure we make good use of that array. This will mean something. Kimball bellows something from the back of the room, something you can only assume is a thank you. You lead the bell's most unusual double act to the broadcast, and as you do, you hear Serene's voice echoing through the bay. This is Serene Sabir back on the air to wish you all a free helium, now and forever. What are we gonna go for? We don't continue. Okay. We have got some cash. Need we can get a little money. Before we leave. Button cryo, what can we get over there? Make a little bit of money. Nice. Okay, so the thing here now is if we can go here and then come back over there. I just don't want to trigger off the... Okay, we'll do this one. Well, I'm gonna finish this one off no matter what, so the other one I'm just gonna have to wait until I'm done. Okay, back to the supply shop. Purchase, leave. Can't fly that directly, we have to go here first and over there. This is so backwards, man. Make a little bit of money. Just doing this. Sleepers! Ria booms as he meets you inside his yard. I couldn't be happy to see you. Tell me, did you find the inscription out there near our belt? He grins. I did. Let me see your work. He holds out a hand and as you pass him color slate. Lovely. He scrolls through the sketches. Pass your designs onto my crews, what it will build onto them. So Ria gestures to the yard. They're the best shipfitters in all the belt, as you know. Come to the yard and speak with them. You may choose whatever design you desire. Surya squints at the slate. This hollow drawing is really quite interesting. He reaches into his toolbag and produces a stack of sheets. The remainder of your fee. Our business is concluded. He nods, adding a little bow to the movement. I'm a busy man. I must get to my business, but thank you again for helping to build a legacy for my yard. Surya folds his arms across his chest. I believe you have work to see. But imagine, if you will, flying on your next contract in a fresh livery, a beautiful reinvention from Soraya's yard. Just as widely. Then when your clients ask why your rig is so beautiful, feel free to send them to me. Soraya smiles, bows, and turns to leave. He watched Soraya go, still unsure if his entire attitude is an act, meant to confuse you into consent. He's a hard man to dislike, but there is something about him you can't quite put a finger on. By the way, it is hard not to feel a little bit thankful for the chance he gave you to look at the belt with new eyes, even if it was while flying one of the most garish ships that the belt's ever seen. Proud rig owner. Let's see. Let's go with rig hollow paint. He complained about it, and I want it. Didn't need that, so. Okay. Go here first, and then 2. I guess is the final mission. Oh well, starting the final mission for it. Let's get some food. Some fuel. The witch chief is surprisingly welcoming for what was once an old Solheim canteen. Corporate bones are still there, metal stools, a strip of service windows, sheet metal walls, but over the tens of thousands of cycles since the collapse, they've been softened and changed, lay with the creatures of human existence. You wait at the bar with Seraphine, you look at the planters welded into the walls, the scroll messages, the layers of stickers and flyers and posters. The amberlight fittings are placed in the old fluorescent strips, the gear racks lined with farmers' packs and netting bulging with crates and canisters. Coming to low rumble of conversation coming from the off-shift farmers, it all lends a warmth to the place and one that helps soothe your nerves ahead of the meet with Karam. You and Seraphine lean side by side at the bar facing towards the room. You both watch Flint just across from you, who insisted on coming along. Seraphine clears his throat. What do you think of Cadence? A sudden question makes you look over at him and you see he's playing with his coin, spinning it in his palm. I like her. Me too, Seraphine smiles to himself, closing his hand on the coin. I think, he pauses and then starts again. We cannot have a thing, he shakes his head. You know what I mean. I noticed. Yeah, he smiles. I thought you might. Well, Seraphine sighs and stretches. I guess I just want you to know. You think out to respond when the bartender taps you on the shoulder and nods towards the door to the back room. It's time. Look over at Seraphine and Flint, who is already approaching you. You give them a nod and head inside. Back room is metal walled and lined with racks of Solheim tech. You see cookers and out-of-wash units piled up with dead terminals and servers. At the far end, a window looks out, crossing the grinning glass of Greenbelt's farms. You made it. Carmen smiles, backlit by the window. We have a lot to discuss. Good to see you. Flint, if you don't mind, Carmen nods at the other sleeper as they enter and gestures towards the door. Flint turns to you. I'll be outside. They slide the door shut, standing guard on the other side. We have to take some precautions, even here. Carmen gestures for you to come closer. So, Seraphine says, is this plan of ours looking any more reasonable? That depends on what your crew can bring to the table, Carmen glances at you. We are going to need to do a lot of work to direct the data, and Kita gave it towards those that we need to see it. What do you have in mind? We need to reveal Lane's betrayal to Tsubu and Darkseid without being discovered in the process. Not an easy task. Nikita can help us. She must. Carmen looks away. Without her, this plan is impossible. Then we make contact with Ankita as soon as we make it into Darkseid. Seraphine looks at you. We just need to stay under Lane's radar. Before the Lane brings the memory of his attempted takeover to the front of your mind, the feeling of him slipping behind your eyes, moving your frame, that can't happen again. Apologies, we do not wish to interrupt, but we must interject on your current course. Overseer appears in the void, flicking nervously. An encounter with Lane would likely be catastrophic. Overseer 3 forms orbit you. As we have mentioned, on arrival to Habib, we must immediately seek the mainframe from where we can recover my codebase and reconstruct ourselves. We'll then be able to aid you in your defenses against being rewritten. This is our recommended course. The three heads nod simultaneously and decisively. You with us, Sleeper? I am back to Seraphim Conservator. You dropped out for a second. Explain about Overseer. You tell Seraphim and Common about Overseer, about how old Solheim protocol slipped into your frame from the prime ship mind Jeremy used in the diagnostic process. Of Overseer's protection from Lane's attempts to control you, of its proposal to make that protection effective through the old mainframe of Darkseid. You listen quietly, Seraphim carefully watching you as you explained. Revealing all this, you feel the burden of holding that knowledge alone being lifted. This changes things. Carmen turns and looks out of the large window at the back of the room towards the glass canopy of the farms. You cannot take on Lane without protecting you from him. Carmen turns back. You should look for the mainframe. I will make contact with Ankita and we will meet when you are ready. But this has to remain secret from Lane and Utsubo. If you are revealed, I'm not sure I will be able to recover you. By the time you have ensured your safety, I will have to put together a plan with Ankita to expose Lane. We take it step by step. The course would be to find a way to disseminate the data we have on Lane to his gang or even Darkseid at large. Carmen stops, the path ahead still unclear to him. This is a nervous intake of breath from Seraphim. You share his apprehension. There are so many variables at play here. Some of the old tech strapped to a nearby rack flickers with a cascade of status lights. You all turn to look as you do. Motors and servos begin spinning within the machines, whining and groaning. They harmonize, then begin to produce a voice. Our apologies. The voice is shrill and distorted. We must interpose ourselves. We recognize the tone immediately. Overseer. We are regretful. Solheim hardware in this room provided the opportunity for us to speak for ourselves. A pile of servers Overseer was controller could look any more apologetic you imagined it would. I understand. We are, a server clicks as it skips a rotation, thankful. We are certain you require dissemination of data within facility. You target. The whine pitches higher as the motors increase the speed. As a Solheim protocol, we have capabilities to instigate station-wide announcements and messaging. So you could blast out Lane's betrayal through Darkseid's corporate hardlines and flood the network with it. Seraphim looks impatiently at a screeching pile of scrap. If that is what you require of us, we are pleased to serve. The shrill tone of the response makes you cringe. Cameron has been listening silently, but now he interjects. Why would we trust you? He glances in your direction. You seem to be little more than a parasite in the sleeper system. We use your unflattering analogy, then you will understand that the parasite requires the body of its host to live. The motor started. We will ensure the sleeper's continuations. And afterwards, Common folds his arm. When you have what you want and regain your code base from the mainframe, we will still do as we ask. He will endeavor to do so. The acrid smell of burning motors now fills the room. But we will undergo a transformative refactoring. We will become whole again. But we cannot speak to our actions in future with certainty. Seraphim and Common exchange concerned looks. We can do what you require. We will protect the sleeper. We will disseminate the data. We are a service protocol. We will serve. Motors and servers stutter and whine and then go still. The status lights blinking and then fade into darkness. Overseer has retreated. We aren't actually going to do what the ghost says, are we? Seraphim looks between you and Carmen. The offer is tempting one, and one that ultimately we cannot refuse, Carmen sighs. But we must proceed with extreme care and caution. What do you think, Sleeper? Seraphim meets her eye. I don't have a choice. Seraphim sighs. Then that's that. We have our plan, Carmen turns to you. Sleeper, you and your crew will find the mainframe and access it. I will find Ankita. She will help us disseminate the evidence of Lane's collusions through Utsubo. Then as fallback, Overseer will send it through the old networks to all of Darkside. Simple plan until you get to the details. Seraphim looks down, frustrated. Speaking of plans, I have a present for you. One that will improve our chances. Cameron puts a small box on the nearest rack, one you hadn't noticed before, and it hinges open, revealing a chunk of tech you don't recognize. It's a spoof transponder. It will conceal your ship on approach to Darkside, give it a new identity, one unlikely to draw attention from the Utsubo-controlled docking admin. Seraphim takes the transporter and turns it over. Where did you get this? Even retired mercenaries have their secrets, Carmen smiles. Seraphim looks to you. I'll be with you this time, Sleeper, he nods. We think who else we want on the station too. Oh, I agree, Carmen interrupts. Make sure you trust those you bring with you and prepare as best you can. We can't know how this will play out. You nod. You get one shot at this. When you're ready, Carmen takes a breath. I have my own way getting onto Darkside, but here, that's a small strip of plastic stamped with numbers. A private frequency. When you're on approach to Darkside, measure me here, and I will sync up my transit. Phones up the transponder in Seraphim's hand. Just make sure to install that first. Seraphim nods. You got it, he sighs. The weight of the task ahead suddenly very apparent. Well, I suppose that's it. Carmen gives you both a serious look. It is, he smiles. Don't leave me waiting long. There will be more time when all this is over. Time where you don't have to keep looking over your shoulder, I hope. You leave Carmen in the back of the wheat sheaf. Lynn sliding open the door as you leave. It takes the entire journey back to the ship for your nerves to settle. The end of this ordeal is so close, and yet it feels like an impossible leap to get there. Perhaps in a handful of cycles you will know how impossible or possible it is. So, how are we feeling about this Solheim protocol in your head? Seraphim doesn't look up from installing and transponding a set of wires and cables waving loosely around him in the low light of the cockpit. Unsettled. Well, that's one way to put it. He unscrews a panel beneath the flight console. Maybe you could have mentioned it earlier. Seraphim clips his magnetic screwhead to the side of the console's base and turns to face you, dusting off his hands. I have understood for a while now, Sleeper, that there are things you experience that I can't even come close to knowing how they feel. But that doesn't mean I don't understand you as a person, Seraphim gives you a concerned look. I know you are secretive, defensive, and I know there are reasons for that. I also know you're warm and kind and generous to those on this ship with you, Seraphim pauses, collecting his thoughts. I trust you, Sleeper, and I won't question this. But please hold on to what's human in you, because that is what I'm holding on to. Seraphim stops his eyes a little while, his tone a little unsure. Then he finds himself again, settling his emotion, and turns back to the transponder. Right, that's it. He twists something beneath the console. Spoof transponder is in. There's nothing keeping us out of Darkside. We change the look. Say the word when you want to go. Okay. Who do we want with us here? Junie. I wonder if I should bring Flint. Shall I bring him or not? Oh yeah, I should bring whoever has one. Is it engaged? It's a double arrow. I should bring cadet then. At least we have. This means not locked out totally out of one. Alright, Sleeper, you want to do the honors? Seraphine is strapped in the palace and guiding the rig towards dark side. Take the strip of plastic Carmen gave you and copy the frequency into the comms window of the console. You type a simple message. Heading in, good luck. Console chimes, a message sent. You hope Carmen is in range to receive it. Search inside your mind, wanting to find Overseer there, but you feel no presence. You hope they will be ready when called for. Look ahead out of the cockpit towards the distant glimmer of dark side. Time to take on lane. Seraphine finally brings the rig into the somewhat dark. Everyone in the cockpit lets out a sigh of relief. The approach was simple, routine even. Checking in with the port administration, being assigned a dock, bringing the rig to a stop. All of it familiar, but all of it laced with the tension of knowing that at any point it could all go very wrong. The spook transponder works. Seraphine shakes his head, so at least we know Carmen's as good as his word. Is there any doubt? Well, Seraphine strikes. I've got used to things not going to plan by now. He shuts down the engine and clips from his seat. But I guess there's still plenty of time for that. Spawning is not as complex as you think, Union clips from the seat. I imagine Carmen is less concerned with reaching Darkside and more with what happens once we are here. This place may have kicked our asses the last time, but this time I'm ready, Cadet searches. Carmen's the big unknown, but if you trust him, I do too. Try to imagine Carmen somewhere on Darkside, perhaps smuggling themselves aboard a freighter or among the crew of a trusted ally. You hope he is confident as he seemed to be about finding Ankita. You need to spend less time worrying about what Carmen has to do and more about what's ahead of us, Seraphine turns to you. The old facility hub was it? I'm guessing that's deep below all this. Seraphine gestures towards the vast accumulation of that is Darkside, a city that grew on the back of the hub, solar cells layer by layer. The chaotic structure is neither planned nor regulated, but the foundations it is built on should be as formal as any corporate facility. It means we need to path down into the foundations, and suggest we don't just take the first one we find, Seraphine continues. We scope the area out carefully, quietly look for the right path into the heart of this place. Should we wait for word from Carmen? Carmen will be in touch. I'll be here when he is. He knows towards the console, the comms window still open for when you sent the message. You ready, Sleepy? Junior smiles. I'll be with you every step. Seraphine nods. I hold the rig down. Don't want you losing your exit route like last time, he winks. Here, he hands you a comms earpiece. I salvage this from the suit helmet. It isn't secure, but as long as it's sober don't know we're here, it should be fine. Let you know as soon as I hear from Carmen. He meets your eye. We'll get this done, Slipper. You know this is what it all comes down to. This one... Junior seems to be kinda... do this one. We have to do all three. No, what did I think? I'm taking this one. One. Two. I can't use it here. Hmm. So gliding down a dark tunnel, descending deeper below dark side, your earpiece begin hissing with static. Sleeper, Seraphine voice sounds distant, faint. Carmen, contact. Met with target. You strain to hear the rest of the message, but the static overpowers his voice. You stop and push the earpiece in deeper. Continue, stay safe. The line goes dead. Uni stops and looks back over his shoulder. Thing is only going to get worse as we go. She glances down the tunnel. Seems like Carmen is progressing. Focus on the task ahead. The mainframe can't be far. Continue your descent down, ducking under thick cables and collapsed beam. The busy urban life of the city above seems far away now, hidden from your senses. Its rumble and brightness has been replaced by the cloying dark and growing oppressive heat. Darkside and the hub facilities was built on has been running unstrained ever since the collapse, gathering huge volumes of energy, more than its residents could ever use. You feel like you can sense it in the walls, running like a torrent just behind the thin skin of metal and rubber. A large portion of the vast amount of current running through the station is radiated into the void as heat, making Darkside a typical humid station, but down here the heat is drier and more intense and the sections of wall glow with a fiery intensity. Tunnel levels out and light blasts through shutter-striped viewing windows on either side, illuminating the passage in strips of burning white. Through the gaps you can see a labyrinth of walkways and scaffolding tucked into the margins of vast solar cells. The heat washes across your vinyl skin, making you tense against it. The underside of Darkside must be crossed. In the exploration of the Habitat facility, you have seen through viewing windows and shutter slats a huge blister projecting out among the hex-shaped cells. You have approached it, circled it, and now you find yourself passing into it, through layer after layer of broken, corroded safety doors. Even if you had not felt the overseer stirring, you would know this is the mainframe, but you have felt the protocol's presence, restlessly turning over in your mind like a sleeping animal, occasionally probing your senses, tracking your progress. You feel at home, overseas multiple bodies stretch out their arms as you bask in sunlight. The system network signals they are fractured and weak, but we know them. Each of the broken heads shares part of a smile. They are welcoming us. Sleeper, Unit's concerned face swims in your vision. Is the protocol talking to you? It looks into your eyes where they're getting stronger already. You need to keep your focus. We are at the mainframe. You look around, suddenly aware that you have drifted somewhere you do not recognize, in a state you will not have control of. The spherical chamber you float within has a mezzanine set around its circumference, the floor a metal grating as you can see through. On this mezzanine are banks and banks of terminals, thick gathered cables snaking away from them across the floor. All of it bakes in the heat of the Habib's vast resistors. Takes forever. Well, this game, it takes its time. Well, we are at the end part. We'll see what more there is there. You follow these cables with your eyes. They lead to a cylindrical column down from the apex of the chamber. It is corroded and bent a little, with very few of its thousands of lights still flickering. Even in its decayed states, you know immediately this is the mainframe. You feel a yearning towards it, one you know comes from overseas, but as you look around for a connection point, all you see are burnt out cables, rusted sockets, and broken terminals. The glow of warmth makes you feel woozy. You need to work quickly to bring this back online before the current flowing through this place bakes you into the metal of its walls. The thing is... Can't really do anything more. This one turned to a 4. Oh, I need one. Damn it, this is... not good. Column of the mainframe pulses with fractured lights, a scattered wave of systems awakening, accompanied by the whine and stutter of the machines all around. It's online. Junior looks wide-eyed around the room, now shaking and shimmering with energy. Incredible. This place is a wonder. This is bigger than Overseer. If I just had a moment to see what I can access. You reach out for a prime connector and with your other hand touch the socket at the base of his synthetic skull. As you do, a sharp shock runs through your fingers. For a moment it feels like your vision doubles, but as you pull the connector and its cable across your vision, you see it's only your body that is doubling. The connector a stable object while your arm leaves ghostly imprints through the air. You wave it back and forth, but the multiplied arms do not follow. Each instead takes on a life on its own, grabbing around your forearm and wrist, taking control of your arm. You feel their force as they push your arm across your body over your shoulder. You push once more and the connector finds its home in the socket. A familiar flow, but stronger, rushing, rapid. Then a figure, no, 3 figures descending into it. A swimmer stepping into a river, a sleeper drifting out of an airlock, a symbol being subsumed into a sign. And you, little more than a witness, a marionette, its strings outstretched, mapped hand to hand, leg to another. The floor freezes, the three figures almost overlapping, almost complete but not quiet. Their tripled eyes look back at you in horror. The voice shrills solid in your head. There's someone else in here. Heat glazing your thick vinyl skin, the mainframe a whirring chaos of light and sound. Brightness and then it fades, the light shutting off, the servers powering down, a single blinking light, the only thing left on the dark column, keeping time like a metronome. Sleeper, Unit is staring at the dark column of the mainframe. The mainframe has entered some kind of hibernation state. I don't understand what you're doing there. You close your eyes and try to recall the events that happened when you connected, playing them back in greater detail. Overseer was there entering the mainframe, but something froze the system, locked them in place. What did they say? Someone in there with them. You open your eyes. Was this a trap? Someone has trapped Overseer. As you speak, a fizzing static fills one ear. Flames thinking it's some new invasion of your system, but then you hear Seraphim through their haze. Sleeper, come now. Waiting. The rig. It's no use. You'll have to ascend to find out what's going on topside. Look at the mainframe with its single blinking light still keeping time. It looks like Overseer will have to wait. Trapped in the mainframe, Overseer is still the key to all this. You hope you can get the protocol out, but you need to hear what Seraphim has to say first. You make your way out to the core, ascending back to the lays of the Habeb back into the docks. Seraphim meets you at the docking tunnel. They are waiting inside. He shakes his head and nods towards the airlock. Come on. Crossing to the ship in silence, finding Carmen in the cockpit, looking out at the dark sides as the sprawls across the stars. Sleeper, Carmen turns. Sorry to pull you away, but you need to know what's coming. What's going on? It's either you blew my cover. You turn as Nikita enters the cockpit behind you and Seraphim. You immediately clock the fresh bandage sleeve around her right forearm. I think you did a pretty good job of that yourself, Carmen retorts. You see a twinkle in his eye that suggests this back and forth is a well-practiced part of their relationship. Perhaps, but we'll never know now, not after you intervene to rescue me. Her hand goes to her bandaged arm almost instinctively. Can someone explain what happened? I passed the data to Ankita and she tried to broach it with Utsubo. Carmen folds his arms, but Lane was more paranoid than we expected. He was listening in. Right after his lapdog Daichi rattled us out, she shakes her head. I would have put him down if he hadn't got the jump on me. Either way, Carmen cuts back in calmly. I had to pull Ankita out. Carmen turns back to look over Darkside. The information did get through though, and now Utsui is in crisis as its members side with or against Lane. Meanwhile, Daichi is hunting us, and Ankita screws up her face, which means we need to be careful. That's why I called you in, Seraphim puts a hand on his shoulder. You need to watch your back. Indeed, Carmen turns to face you. And how about the mainframe? Have you been successful? They explained the events of the cycle, the mainframe booting up, the successful connection, and the overseeing be locked inside, frozen by some other force. You mentioned their warning, there's someone else in here. Carmen nods thoughtfully. Unfortunately, we need a mainframe more than ever. With Ankita out of the zoo, we have to get the word out. Carmen's tried to Subu will be distracted by this revelation, but it won't last. Without further proof, they will all line behind Lane in time. We need a mainframe. Agreed, this is our first priority. Your protocol is being locked in by some counter-protocol or agent. It wouldn't be surprised if it can be tracked back to Utsubo. Kita looks at Carmen. I know the locations of a few of the Utsubo network nodes. We should hit them first. No, we need to stay under the radar. Sleeper and the crew will investigate the nodes. Quietly. Carmen nods here. You and I will run interference. Keep Utsubo away from those locations best we can. What if you don't find anything? Utsubo uses the hardline network of the old facility. It isn't them locking down the mainframe, it's someone using that infrastructure. Think of the feeling of stasis you felt when Overseer was trapped and the power required to halt the flow of a mainframe as vast and ingrown as the Habeb one. Could just be an Utsubo hacker? Doubt it. Since we have a plan, Seraphim looks between you all. That we do. and we will need you to keep running comms between us. Carmen turns to you. Sleeper, Kita will give you the location to dig into. Keep it quiet. Daichi is out there and he hasn't as easily avoided as some low-ranking enforcer. Kita slaps the top of a couple of crates of supplies you hadn't noticed before. Consider this parting gift from my tenure at Totsubo. Select them from a gang storehouse, she grins. Thought you might need a resupply. Alright, Carmen addresses the room. Keep quiet and keep in touch. We can still pull this off. Okay, so... we have 3 of them. God damn it. Let's see here what we have. Yellow and blue. Come on, man. What the heck? Stupid stress. I might lose a dice. Yeah. Last one. I don't believe it. Carmen stares through the shadows of the dune window of a smooth squat ship tucked into the rigged bay between the hexes. How long has it been here? The nodes were hacked and the trace established. You imagine it might lead to an Tsuba operator or perhaps an old subnet containing aggressive Solheim protocol gone mad with isolation. Not this, never this. A Senate stat ship tucked into the belly of Darkside like a parasite. We need to move on that ship now, and Kita is already adjusting her gear, prepared for an assault. We can hit an Tsubu safe house for weaponry. There's one. Carmen holds up a hand. This is a gift, Ankita. Don't be so brash. He turns back to face the both of you. All we had until now was data, conversations, evidence easily denied or destroyed by Lane. But a Senate stat ship hidden inside the station? Carmen nods grimly. There are hundreds of crews, thousands of residents who would give everything to protect Darkseid from the war. Carmen turns back to the ship, silhouetted against the star. All we need to do is point them in the right direction. Turn Darkseid on the ship. And on Lane at the same time. Carmen nods grimly. We leak it all. Send it out through the mainframe. The ship location. The evidence of Lane's betrayal. All of it. You're forgetting one thing, Ankita interrupts. Until that ship leaves or is taken, they still have the mainframe locked down. We can't blast out its location through the network without taking it on first. Carmen pauses, considering his options. You look out at the Senate that ship have concealed in the bay. Looks sleek, dangerous. What defensive might a ship like that deploy when threatened? Carmen and Ankita exchange look. Then we attack first. Carmen and I will distract the ship's occupants, turn their focus away from the mainframe. Then you, Sleeper, hit the mainframe and force them out. As soon as Overseer is released, you send out everything. Once it hits the network, our backbone will come. He gives Ankita a grim look. You only have to hold them off for as long as it takes for other crews to realize what is happening. The plan feels desperate, and you know what, Carmen and Ankita think so too. The Darks are really mobilized against the ship so quickly. Two Mercs against an unknown Senate force feels like an unwinnable battle. You know the stakes, Sleeper, and Ankita takes a deep breath. You can handle them. Ankita frowns, an unpleasant thought passing through her mind. I have given up on everything to get to Subel. Let me finish the job. Okay, let's do it. Ankita nods. Go to the mainframe and get set up. When you're ready to connect, let us know. Khan puts a hand on your shoulder. Once you start, don't stop for anything. Get the data out. He meets your eye. We will handle ourselves. Turn on and glide away, looking over your shoulder at the two ex-mercenaries who discuss their plan of attack. Seeing them slip back into those old roles, you can't help but wonder, does anyone ever outrun their past? Or is it always waiting there in the dark to claim you then? Heat inside the habitat core is intense. You stare at the column of the mainframe is one blinking light still keeping time. Cameron's connection is all looks good, Sleeper. Unit turns to you, her hair stuck to her forehead with sweat. We can get Overseer up. All we need is for Carmen to force Tennistat to stop paying attention to us. You glance at Ankita's thumbnail drive now slotted in the main terminal, containing a data packet with everything you need to unseat the lane and reveal the Senate ship. You hope it will be enough. You hold a finger to your earpiece and let Seraphine know to relay the message through to Carmen. Alright, Seraphine's voice is heavy with worry. I'll tell them. A long pause. Be safe, Sleeper. Get this done and come back. I will. Good luck, friend. The comms click off as Seraphine switches to Carmen's channel. You wait, imagining the conversation, the tense words activating the plan. You wait long enough for Carmen and Kita to nod to each other, long enough for them to drop down through the base in silence. To check the weapons they stole from Mitsubo, to take their position, then to make their move. You grab the connector and hold it behind your head, close to your access port. You silently count to 3 and then connect. First, nothing has changed. You drop into a state of stasis, a small dark space with no cracks. The mainframe is locked down, shut out, squeezed inside the grip of some clenched fist. Then you see it, a trickle of light, the flicker of threads. Overseer flows into the space and the torrent begins to run. The rushing great pulse of data, the connective threads, the jewel of the mainframe, they grow inside the space and the space in turn grows. We see you there, Sleeper. Overseer separates and reforms within the expanding landscape. Who is this other? An enemy. Overseer's 3 heads nod, then we will do what is necessary. Overseer explodes. The points and lines of light that describe its human form separate and multiply, constellations bursting outward like a tree of stars. Overseer becomes plural. As they do, the darkness is pushed back and the extent of the mainframe is revealed. It is a stack of jeweled surfaces, each revealing more facets as the angle changes. From these facets, threads project, cutting out across Darkside, paths that stretch the length of the entire station. The arrangement is an invitation. You accept the invitation, sending yourself skimming through lines of light, seeing how the station connects and hums with the flow of data. You see the highest tower, the lowest hex, and then the origin of the dark. A squiggle of black wrestles around a single point, the sentient stat ship. Now battleground, you see flashes and flickers that Overseer dances around it and cuts at it. By looking around, you see Overseer is everywhere now, multiplied into 1,000 forms. Reunited with a system designed to serve them, they dissolve into it. You suddenly remember what needs to happen, what you need them to do. You send out separate requests summoning Overseer, reminding them of your agreement. You take the bright polygon of the data packet and present it like an offering to Overseer, who is diffused, crackling all around you. Euphoric in their reconstruction as a functional protocol. You receive no response. There is nothing more than a whisper snatched away on the flow of data rushing by. Then you hear the static in your earpiece. Seraphine's desperate cry for a response. You see a bright point suddenly close inside the core with you, a broadcast going out from it like the beam from a lighthouse. You reach back and pull on the connector, just to clear the brightness from your eyes, just to block the broadcast. I found you, Lane floats in the mainframe. Sweat across his brow, his eyes deadly cold. I have finally found you. Unit comes out of the dark with force and ferocity, striking Lane, wrestling him away. You freeze, watching Lane fight back, hearing Seraphine's voice shimmering in your earpiece, passing on Karma's desperate request for aid. Reconnect to the mainframe. You grasp for a connector and then drive it home. You are in the constellation of the dark side's network. The exploded body of Overseas stretched across it as if it has been anatomized. Lane is still a beacon, one that flashes close, but you do your best to ignore it and reach out to Overseas once more. Remember me, Protocol, you say. Remember your promise. Something begins to form, begins to flicker. As it does, you hear something outside the network, the bright crack of an electrical discharge, the grunt of pain and impact, then silence again. The brightness grows, it draws closer, and the blinding white blanks out everything. You open your eyes to a smile like knives. Behind Lane's pale head, the body of a fried floats, stunned in the dark. The fingers of Lane's carrier signal reach inside your mind. You're boxed into a viewing window behind your eyes, a passenger in your own body. Lane is in control. Oh, so much easier now that I'm prepared. It's almost a seamless switch. Lane's face is in your vision, but his mouth does not move. And the duality of it, like a mirror turned to face itself. In perfect unison, you and Lane lift your hands in front of your face to turn them inspecting, and you feel sick and a flare of panic going off in your mind. Look at this! Lane opens and closes your fist with a motion like a wave that runs finger to finger. There are improvements to be made, but this is remarkable. Lane's eyes look into your eyes, a perfect loop. I always knew your body was a gift slipper from the moment I first saw you. A gift you could not recognize because you only saw a burden, something to be escaped from, but I saw what it was. Lane's eyes flashed, an opportunity. Like a puppet, you turn to face the mainframe. You glide forward a little, hands reaching for the access terminal, and Kita's drive glints there. In its slot, you control none of this. Lane's voice, imagine having more than one body, more than one agent in the world to do your bidding. Your hand reaches down, finger and thumb pinching delicately around the drive. It's a thrilling thought, and one I have harbored for a long time. With a short, sharp motion, you pull the drive free. Then I saw you, my sleeper, and I knew I must have you. You hear Seraphine's voice in your ear. Sleeper? Carmen needs that signal to go out now. There's panic in his voice. You can't hold out any longer. No matter how you try, your lips do not move. No words can be produced. You feel your hand on the Lane's control reach up and pull the earpiece out, letting it float away into the chamber. Enough distractions. Your other hand holds up on Kita's drive, turning it in the light in front of your eyes. Some time ago, a step on several tasks was changing you from a hollow thing into a vessel to be filled. Your finger and thumb transfer the drive to your palm. Now I am able, with the help of my allies, to fill you up. I am more than singular now, more than flesh and blood, more than you in my ambition, in my desire. That means you surplus me now. Your fist close hard around the drive, crushing it to dust. Weak and broken thing, your time is over. Lane's other body approaches you and lays its hands on either side of your head. You feel the pressure, you cannot move, you cannot resist. Then a spark as one of Lane's fingers slips and depresses a little into the access port of your head. There's a flicker, the flash of something passing through the spaces between, something writing a signal back to his broadcaster. We have not forgotten, you hear Overseer. They are reconstituted. We are ready to act as one. Overseer holds the bright data packet in a single hand. We were broken, we were many, but now we are whole, and we appreciate what you have done. Overseer shaves the data packet into a point, a bright spear of light. The spear extends through your mind, gently harming nothing of you. Instead, it finds the mind of the other of Lane and pierces it directly. You hear Lane scream as his implants burn in his skull, his head flaring bright white in the cloud. Then, when that mind has gone dark and the pressure on the sides of your head has receded, the packet explodes across the network, white hot and urgent. In its wake, data points are seeded, conversations, coordinates, a conspiracy. At the farthest point of the network is distant as the data packet arrives with little more force than a notification, delivered to every device and terminal within its range. But here, at the epicenter, it blasts through you with such power that for a moment every thought, every idea, every piece that might make up a self is wiped cleanly from your mind. It takes a long time to put a person back together, a long time in the dark picking up fragments of what once was whole. Like waking from sleep, you can never be sure what piece might have gone missing in the reconstruction. What might have been lost. But you continue anyway through hazy cycles of faces and distant voices. This is, after all, not the first time you have had to remake yourself, and you imagine it will not be the last. You're up, Seraphine finds you looking out of the lone window in the rig's berths, a slit that stares out across the shattered edge of Darkside. Looks like it. Seraphine gives you a half grin. Hey, I can cover it for you if you want to nap a little longer. Suddenly, Seraphine crosses the bunks and embraces you. He squeezes you once and then backs off, hands on both your shoulders. Good to see you up, he smiles, as always. Come on, we need to go find Bliss. Seraphine leads you out of the bunks, through the ship, and down the docking tunnel onto Darkside. As you glide through the docks, he recounts what has been happening over these past cycles. You weren't the only one taking a beating and squeezed through a group of cargo porters carrying crates, and Keith and Carmen held out against the Senate-stud ship long enough. But they aren't without their share of injuries. They are back on their feet now, though, working together. They managed to quiet down some of the remnants of Utsubo, stop the factional infighting. They are clearing out one of the Utsubo safe houses over in the rise. I'm sure they could use the help if you need something to do. Marco has come to the station too. Want to help with the cleanup after Utsubo fell. He's working with Ankita. I should go see him, but Seraphine says you feel like he hasn't quite accepted Marco's reappearance. You're unsure how you would react to seeing him again either. Oh, and Carmen isn't sticking around. He's already left through Oliveira. Seraphine pauses for a second, a memory of that place coming back to him. You watch him shake the thought away. Junie, meanwhile, is still digging into all that data she pulled from the bunker. She's down in the HabPep core most cycles, trying to make sense of it. Anyway, you soon catch up on everything, he smiles sympathetically, but there's something behind his look. You can't quite place it. The two of you continue on in silence, drifting into the depths of Darkside. Good friends, side by side. Seraphine leads you down into a passage line with bright screens and signs, sound and light blasting out of the shop fronts on the other side. You know this place, Flicker Row. He stops outside a familiar door, the shop you woke up in all those cycles ago. He gives the door a few quick raps with his knuckles. You wait. Hey, Sleeper, he shoots you a glance. When you're ready, we should talk about the future. What comes next, all that. Whenever you like. Thanks, I'll let you know. Seraphine looks away. Sleeper! Bliss opens the door, immediately jumps to hug you. You let go sheepishly and look between you and Seraphine. First day up, I thought you would both be celebrating your freedom. Don't want to overdo it, Seraphine shakes his head. Plus, there's more important stuff to talk about. His eyes shoot up into the shop beyond. Bliss's voice drops. You sure, Seraphine? They just got up. Can't it wait a cycle? Seraphine looks at you. They should know, Bliss. It's important. You nod hesitantly, then back into the shop, letting you come inside. Little has changed since you were last there. The stacks of servers, the refurbished hardware secured in roof and wall netting. The connectors included the one that facilitated your boot. Bliss and Seraphine follow behind quietly, and the atmosphere is immediately ominous. I've been keeping an eye on you these past cycles. Bliss hooks their legs onto a stool by a counter, making sure you were stable. Your frame, I'm sure you know, has been through a lot, and when Overseer pushed Lane out, well, things got more complicated. All those changes Lane made to your system, he did it through your stabilizer. He laced it with proteins meant to alter your frame's basic function, to accept other emulations, other minds, to open you up to remote access. What Overseer did did, corrected some of that, or at least wiped it from your system. But the stress involved and the damage from your last partial reboot. Please fall silent, unable to answer their own questions. We need to finish the reboot, Sleeper. The one lane interrupted. Seraphine can always be relied on to tell you things straight. Not immediately, Bliss cuts in, but at some point soon. Not quite ready, but now that you're up, Bliss looks down. I get to work. How can I prepare? Please take a deep breath. Look, I'll be honest, Sleeper. I know we need to finish the reboot lane interrupted. I'm sure of it. But the effects? You shake the head. Your frame was complex to begin with, but after everything, the reaction could be bad. We can talk more about it when I have the... Bliss stops suddenly, their eyes shooting through the door. Sorry, am I? Flint floats into the doorway. They look at you, wide-eyed. You're up! A smile crosses their face, though it quickly fades. Good to see you, really good. How you doing, Flint? Good. They glance at Bliss, smiling. Mostly thanks to Bliss, they have been taking care of me. Bliss smiles back. Flint has become my patient too. Bliss claps their hands nervously together. We've been able to acquire some stabilizer from Lane's stores, which has helped, but we don't have much of a supply. Bliss is going to reboot me like you were. Flint cuts in. I won't need stabilizers anymore. They sound almost excited at the prospect. Look at Bliss. Flint knows the risk, but they have asked for the procedure. They give Flint a warning look. Still, they shouldn't underestimate the danger. Looks like a Flint. Sleeper will also need a reboot, but they don't have a choice in the matter. It is essential. Flint goes quiet. Bliss and Seraphine look nervously at you to see your reaction to all this. You feel like a spotlight has been shone in your face. All you want is some time alone to think. We should do it together, Flint speaks quietly. Whatever we risk it together. They meet your eye. I owe that and more. Let's pick this up again in future. Bliss tries to calm the tension. Still many cycles to prepare, especially if I'm to reboot you both simultaneously. It will be your choice, Sleepy. You decide when they reach out and lay hand on yours. But without this, you will soon begin a decline. I'm sorry for that. Your head spins. Seraphine slaps a button on the door. Come on, Sleeper. Let's get some air. Pull him outside, but when you get there, all you can think is that you can't breathe. You don't need to breathe. A wave of claustrophobia passes over you. You're in control of this, Sleeper. Seraphine stares at the lights and signs of Flicker Row, looping endlessly. You put what you need in order, and I'll be right here with you. I got Bliss to teach me a little about the repairs they've been doing for you. Seraphine rubs his hands together. I know it's getting worse, but I'll do my best to keep you running. Let me know when you want to leave, and I will fly you out of this place faster than you can believe. He turns to face you. We can go wherever you need, he frowns. There's time for us yet. Thank you. You never need to thank me, Sleeper, he pats you on the shoulder. Just look after yourself. It's also thinking, Seraphine looks away. I got a message from Oliveira. They're still getting the place together, but with Carmen heading back, the colony is starting a new chapter. Maybe we should head out there at some point. Lend a hand. He pauses. I'm willing to push it further. Just a thought. Anyway, just give the word. Seraphine smiles. We're all glad you're back. He turns and drifts away, leaving you among the cycling colors and megaphone sounds of Flicker Row. You close your eyes and let them wash over you like a wave. There in the dark of your mind, you search for Overseer, but the protocol does not appear. You wonder if that final moment Overseer might have destroyed themselves to end Lane. Then you feel it flickering nearby, a signal in the dark. You open your eyes and see something pass through the screens of Flicker Row, a shadow in all brightness. Would Overseer still be there in the ancient networks of the Hubbub? You turn away and glide out the row. You have other things to worry about now. Oh my god, more people to talk to. Nobody's puppet. How are you doing? Cadet finds you in a dark side thoroughfare, a glass-roofed canyon struts and screen. Not great. Cadet nods. I'm sorry to hear that. She looks around. We made it here at last. At least. She gestures around the broad street with its layers of tech and dirt. Heart of the belt. You really look at the glass-roofed street. Its walls are built from scaffolded and shipping containers, hull plates and Solheim HAB units. People glide across the open space to units and shops on either side, and everywhere screens flicker and glare without sense and reason. You can feel the heat of power that flows through this place, collected by the vast solar cells that form city's foundations. Heart is the right word. This place is a center of circulation, tone, muscle flow, and running to a beat. Turn to Cadet and can see it in her eyes. She loves being here. In thinking, she glances away of how good it would feel to run my airbike down the street. She smiles. The city has to need curious, right? That's a good idea. I know. She flexes her shoulders back. There's some unfinished business weighing me down. She meets your eye. Hexport. Think of the drive tucked away in the scatter yards, the one that contains the data stream from a drone mine vivisection, the one that might have caused the loss of an entire station. We need to go finish what we started. The cadet looks deadly serious. Find who is responsible and make it known. Clear my name. Is Hexport still irritated? I would think so, she sighed, but it will be fair. We can get in and out safely for now, you know. We better try soon, because the safer it gets, the more scavengers will come to pick the bones. We want to be there's something left to tell the story. No, a lot just went down. Cadet puts a hand on her hip, but those clans could still be operating. Hell, they could be trying the same thing again on this station. We need to go find what they did. She takes a deep breath. I'll be waiting. And maybe once it's all done, she turns away. I'll let you take the first airbike ride through this place. She raises a hand and then it's gone. Oh, you still have to do that shit. Oh, God. Let's see what we can do here. We need fuel. We need supplies. We still have more to do. And this game never ends, man. It's like, more to do, more to do, more to do. Judy knocks gently on the frame of the bird's doorway. Sleep here? Can I show you something? There's an excitement in her eyes that makes it impossible to say no. Unit talks most of the way down into the HAPAP facility, which is no short journey. She explains the scale of the data hidden within the station's mainframe, but also the issues with extracting it. When the HAPAP was first built on, first expanded when it became darkside after the collapse, no one gave much thought to preserving the existing network architecture. It guides you through the substructure, picking a route through the maze of shuttered passages. The parasite did take directly into the existing systems, and now thousands of cycles later, the two networks are totally enmeshed, dependent on each other. The journey takes a series of sudden turns, and you realize this is a very familiar route to her now. Messing with the Solemn network means messing with the system that keeps the city going. She leads you down a long corridor, one you recognize as leading directly to the core. Let her explain. This meshing is not a good thing, she shakes her head. It makes Darkside brittle, fragile even. This place is on more of a nice edge than anyone would believe. You look around. Certainly in the underside you are now traveling through looks cycles away from collapse. With all the data we've been extracting that have been archiving, Junior continues, could help us here. It could help us clean up the HAPAP systems. We could turn this place into an archive, so that others could come to learn more about the ruins of Solemn left us. What's in all this data? Anything you can imagine, everything from corporate message records to blueprints and maps. She shakes her head. It's too much for me to process or understand. Thanks to our visit to the bunker, I have a plan and something that will help me. You arrive at the doors to the mainframe and Junior suddenly stops. Spoke to Bliss, it told me. I'm sorry, Sleeper, I know you have a lot to deal with right now. Don't worry. Junior smiles weakly. I'll do my best. Junior hits a button and the door hits open. You both glide into the mainframe. Its column studded with the blinking lights of active traffic. I got the idea from you, actually. Well, from you and Overseer. Junior glides over to the mainframe. You look at the mainframe and you see now it is surrounded by the new terminals and wiring, some kind of external access network Junior has set up. I had to beg, borrow and steal to get this going, but now we have a safe access into the network. It's low risk. She moves over to one of the terminals. It's not quite finished though. Recall the last time you were here, Lane Overseer, the spear of white light and then nothing. You wonder where Overseer is now, if they are anywhere at all. You remember how it felt being dissolved into the network, the virtuous possibility of life without a body. Something flickers through the lights, a shimmer of movement like a fish beneath water. Sleeper, Junior breaks your train of thought. Are you listening? I was saying I need more data to finish preparing, she strikes. And now I know we've been already extracted so much, but there's often so little of it's unusable among the bitrot and corruption. Where from? Hadron Gate is the place to get data. Apart from there, it's the biggest pre-collapse facility in the belt, and its hostile condition means a lot of it's untouched. Too much before you reboot, I get it. I just want to do something with everything we managed to grab from the bunker and the racks. We pull it from the dark, let's expose it to the light. Holy shit, there's even more to do now. God damn it. Unit turns back to face. Well, this is what I want to show you. She looks away. I'm not sure I understand. That's okay, maybe when it's finished. She strikes. Unit turns back to the terminal and before long she's fully engrossed. Imagine she barely even remembers you are here. You leave Unit to her preparation and start your ascent through the streets of Darkside, thoughts of Overseer flicking in the back of your mind. Now we have to go over there to get some stupid shit to... Oh, god damn it. It's like such extra fluff to the game, man. Huh? That really doesn't add to some of it. Some are okay, but some is like, eh. He watches the last stack of traces gathered up and out of the cavernous Tsubu safe house. You doubt it will be long before this space is filled. Darksiders will not tolerate a vacuum for long. The city takes every opportunity. Its inhabitants build in every crack and crevice. As the Tsubo spaces are clear, they will be occupied. The gang's legacy will be buried under factories, kitchens, markets, and housings. But the people remember the cold and desperate grip they once held on this place, even if the city does not. Come to gloat? The voice takes you by surprise. You turn to see Orin floating in the shadows, arms folded. He drifts forward onto the pool of yellow light. You overthrew a tyrant. You should be pleased with yourself. His tone is flat and you're unsure how to read his statement. It wasn't just me. Many people did this. I suppose, Orin eyes you, but from what I heard, you burnt those pale eyes out of his skull. He smiles a thin smile. I imagine it was quite the sight. Don't recall a moment of Lane's death. In fact, the abstract nature of that moment, almost dreamlike, means you had almost forgotten. You tense a little as his scream comes back to you. A screech of white noise bathed in white light. Orin is still watching. He almost would have respected you for actually doing it. Orin is still watching him. He almost would have respected you for actually doing it. Orin inspects his knuckles. If he could have respected a creature like you. What do you want? Orin grins. Just to satisfy my curiosity. Came here to clear out the old disease just like you. Orin gestures to the space. Tsubo had to go, and I came here to be part of that process. Can't burn everyone you don't like out of this place, I'm afraid. Orin folds his arm. This is our home, whether you like it or not. I didn't like Lane. It's hard to imagine anyone did. He saw Darkseid for the opportunity was and woke Tsubo from his slumber. He turned a gang into an administration aide, sitting into a machine. He was too erratic for my taste perhaps, but he held this place, shaped it into something. I see that you have no intention of doing the same. So what will happen now? Orin meets your eye. You have created a space that must be filled. Will you take the responsibility for that at least? The people will decide. Or will they? Orin knuckles. I can see that you don't know the first thing about Darkseid and his people. People decided on Tsubo. You changed that. Now you wanted to pick something else? The opportunity is all of them. They will choose for their own benefit only. In the end, I should thank you. The city was done with Lane. Orin gives you a nod. And I would be honest enough to admit that you did what I didn't. Never forget, you are an outsider here, and Darkseid hates outsiders. Before you can respond, Orin kicks off and glides up towards the upper levels of the safe house, leaving you alone in the empty space. Though you do not wait, but you still sting. Perhaps you think there is something to them. Who are you to decide the future of a city when your own future is falling apart each cycle? You're declining a spiral that can trap others in its wake, or a necessary transition crisis before a new shape emerges. You hug your arms closer to your side, suddenly cold and stripped by your safe house, and ascend once more. Can we finally leave this damn dump, or... Oh, jeez. If I had known that, I wouldn't have sold that stuff before. God damn it. This is such a bullshit that I... Oh, I'm gonna need that stuff all of a sudden. What should we use? Taking the base. Clear the moment you wake and flick at the edge of your perception of sensation beyond your body. A blinking, tugging, and then the numbness as something shuts off within you. Panic is instant, the feeling of something not being right within you spiking your fear. No pain comes, you feel no further shifts as time stretches out, you settle again, you calm yourself. You know immediately that this is what Bliss was referring to, your frames decline, the one your boot should reverse. Flex a little, feel your body, try to ground yourself in it. You will not collapse this cycle, but something has changed. This is how it will be until the reboot. You hope you have long enough to finish what you must. You begin the cycle slowly, holding the pieces of yourself together. You try not to let your thoughts wander to darker things and fix your eyes on the task ahead. Belt drifts from past the window, following a flow of its own, expanding, collapsing, shifting it its own way. People say it's drifting away, getting further from Helion star, that one day it will drift out of the system altogether into interstellar space. Find a strange solace in that, somehow knowing that the entropy in the way of the universe makes your own decline palatable, at least for a little longer. As the rig drew closer to Hexport, the crew became silent, now staying out with what is left of what was once a thriving station. You feel empty. The full extent of the damage is impossible to ignore. Grim, Seraphine shakes his head. It doesn't feel like we were here that long ago, he sighs. And now, this is what's left. Look at the clouds of scattered debris, the layers of the station torn open into the void. It is a reminder how close the war and the unseen atrocities in the enemy system are to the shifting into the belt. Don't like digging around in a place like this, Seraphine tells you. Let's be quick about it. Agreed, we'll be fast. Here if you need me. You head to the airlock to suit up and get ready. Ready for this? Cadet catches up with you in the passageway. This place is already giving me the creeps. I'm ready. Cadet nods. If there's answers to be found, we'll find them. Keep your eyes on the shadows. Flint is getting suited up at airlock. We can't rule out scavengers and grave robbers, and they won't react well to visitors. Cadet takes the suit from the locker. Seraphine said the radiation is lower than expected, but still too high for prolonged exposure. Suit should keep most of it off us, but we can't take long after. Stress on the suits and the rig. She decides we'll be forced to leave in 3 cycles. Cadet grabs him, not a moment more. Get ready to, your mind filled with memories of Hexport. You hope it will help you navigate this shattered ruin, but looking at what's left, you doubt it. Gain a permanent glitch. Okay. And why is that now? Is it because we are starting to fall apart, or what? That's a bit of a bullshit. You get a sleeper, Cadet stops among the debris just outside the ruin exchange. Search so far has been thankless, a grim slog through endless debris. You're glad of the break. Stop floating in the dark and listen. There is a hissing on the open comm channel, a hissing you've grown used to. Now that you listen to it again, though, you notice something else in the noise. There's something different to it now. A texture and modulation of tone. Is that? A voice, Cadet cuts in. Someone is speaking. Her eyes look wide through the faceplate of her suit. Listen carefully, and yes, perhaps there is a voice there. Though it is quiet and distant, it could be a person speaking, or it could be some residual signal from an automated system, one that is slowly dying in this wasteland. See Cadet moving around, testing the signal strength from different positions. It's coming from the direction of the docks. Her voice hisses through the comms, layering over the broadcast. You sure it's worth checking out? I'm not, Seraphine's voice cuts in over the comms. We can't go chasing ghosts, not with so little time left. The rig can't sit out here getting cooked by radiation neither can you, Seraphine's voice distorts and shifts. To move to this epicenter where Factory Row used to be, that's where this all went down. Claire looks at you and you know she wants to chase a signal to the docks. She wants there to be someone there calling out to you. You look over towards the remains of Factory Row, the epicenter as Seraphine called it. It's now clouded debris of fragments of base and the shadow of what it once was. For the first time in a long while you think of Karsten. We look back at the remains of the dogs and a few warning lights and systems still flickering away in the ruins. Not much time left, you have a choice about where to focus the efforts. So we're gonna have to do either this. Let me not. Oh, well, he's not sure we're gonna find something over there either. We go for this. I can't use the glitched one. I can. Because it has so much negative percentage. Well, we were lucky there. Urgent! Broadcast access for your comms. Retrieval required. Conway network agents, please respond. Go beside Cadet, the two of you shocked to silence by the sight of the infantry. Both of you have traced the ghost signal deep into the dogs. All the time wondering if it might be the voice of the survivor. You had not prepared yourself for this. The core of the dogs is a nest of machines, a gathering of drones, a motorized sleds, crane system, docking clamps, a nest for the drone mine. Stop, please. The voice humans with distortion relayed on the same carrier signal as the ghost broadcast. We wish to be recovered. You don't know the mechanics of what you're looking at, but you understand that the drone mine fled here. But how? You exchange a look with Cadet and she seems unsure what to do. You switch your comm channel to the broadcast signal. What happened here? Unverified access, unable to resist, requesting recovery. Drone mine's voice trembles with glitches. Confirm common extractions role in identity. You wonder what this mine knows. Is it just an interface designed to speak between humans and drones with the recognizable cadence of intelligent speech, or is it a thinking machine? You hear a click as Cadet switches to a private channel. This thing is a weapon. Her voice is flat, unemotional. We should be careful what we say here. Confirm common extraction role identity. Drone mine intones, please. Fly to the drone. You make up a destination that sounds plausible. Cadet turns to you and raises an eyebrow. Confirming with central control. The net shutters. Confirmation impossible. Connection severed. Retrying. Look, Cadet hisses through the private channel. It's hardwired to the station. Look where she is nodding and see a single thick power cable snaking from an industrial wall outlet. The nest is clustered around the other end, huddling close to the fading power supply of the station like it's the dying embers of a fire. Urgent, broadcast starts again. Retrieval required. Common network games. Please respond. Let's move forward, Selena. I order you to deliver a report on your current status. This is the direct report from Combat Control. She turns back to you and strikes. It's worth a shot. Confirmation impossible. Connection severed in this phase, then flicks back to life. Temporary bypass activated. Cognitive function minimal. Power supply minimal. Hardware suboptimal configuration. No drone units connected. I am alone. The shift between communication registers between former and human is unsettling. Code center compromised, data extracted by third parties, self-destruct disabled, purge protocol disabled. Parts of the nest fall away, the power draining fast as the drone mine attempts to draw more from the station. Please, the drone mine asks nonsensically. Please stop. You destroy the station? Cadet moves close now, bearing down on the nest. It is little more than a pile of broken machines covering in a corner as the power fades. Self-destruct attempted, process failed. Hardware purge attempted, process failed. Self-preservation protocol activated. Propagated through the station network. Station failed. Central failure imminent. Please stop. The machine is in the nest begins to go dark. Please stop. Please stop. Cadet turns back to face her. He didn't do this, she says. He tried though. Tried to destroy itself and take the station with it. Turns back to look at the failing mine hiding in machines he was not built to inhabit. Escaped into the network and ended up here. It isn't responsible. Responsible or not, that's enough. Cadet reaches over and rips the power cable from the wall, leaving it floating. The nest shuts off, the broadcast channel going silent. Bed goes dark, what was left of the drone mine, whatever protocol data escaped into the machines, and their network is gone now. There is no hardware left to hold it. Come on, Cadet glass the room, leaving you among the dead machines. Yeah. You're floating in pieces over one's factory row. Here's the way to see what these pieces once were, scattered and scorched as they are. You cannot assemble them back into the place in your mind, and the longer you have searched it, the more that this broken place is weak in your memory of when it was whole. But you have managed to put something together here, part of the story of Hexport's final moments. The story is told in the blast marks on the austere place, the patterns of debris, the materials, the makeup of the station's remains. Beyond that, the other thing is remarkable, there aren't any bodies. Seems that Hexport had some warning. The lack of docked ships, the lack of mass casualties, though the explosions surely killed many. It also suggests the station had time to react, to at least evacuate in part. Then there's a blast, explosion that the evidence points to as coming from the outside of the station. It is hard to tell as so much secondary damage was caused by debris and shrapnel, but the pattern is there if you look. Something catches your eye, and you look over to see cadets arriving alongside you, studying the same debris as you. Pieces come together. A moment of warning, an evacuation, then an external attack. The first causes a second. You know the drone mine was here, being scraped for code and data, screaming for it to stop. But then something happened, something that its captor could not control. There was a crisis, rapid panic, and then Hexport was the race for their crimes. It was a cover-up, wasn't it? Cadet has been watching you think through the evidence, and you see the flash of recognition in her eyes. They wanted to hide what had happened here, what they were doing. It had to be Senate stat, who else would sacrifice the station to remain hidden? You can see the anger in her eyes. This is why Hexport was destroyed. The drone mine got out, entered the network, who knows what he might have done. Could have taken apart the station itself, overloading every system, opening every airlock? Was it drive towards self-destruction that strong? Someone didn't want to find out. Its escape sealed the station's fate. In the end, there is only one conclusion. Those who brought the drone mine to Hexport, who dug into its code and system while it was alive, they ended the station. Though it is cruel and cold, the kind that the vacuum of helium system allows, you find no comfort in knowing that truth. Okay. We are done here. Not much to celebrate when you return from the remains of Hexport. We're glad to be back here all the same. There's something surprising that Darkside is haven, not the prison, a slow recurring idea of this overgrown city as a home. As you've seen in Hexport, stability cannot be taken for granted, not anywhere in the belt, but Darkside has solidity and life that feels like it might endure. Did I catch it up with you? We need to talk, she looks around, but not here. Come, I have something I want to show you. Bliss has been in touch. Sleeper Seraphine turns and looks over his shoulder as soon as you enter the copper. He's sitting in the pilot seat, running diagnostic on the console. They say they are ready for the reboot. Did he say anything else? You know, Bliss. Seraphine rolls his eyes a little. They worry. He turns fully in his seat. How are you feeling? Rough. Seraphine knows it doesn't answer. He seems to be thinking about something. No reboot needs to happen, so we slow carefully. I know the risk. I can see all that. I also know what happened last time. I don't want you to forget again, to lose all this. He gestures around the cockpit, everything we have done. You will still have it all. But I'll be alone with it, Seraphine looks down. That's not what I want. I'm not trying to scare you, I just needed to say that. If the reboot doesn't go how we want, I'll miss you, I'll miss all this. I will too. If you remember, Seraphine laughs shakily at his own joke. Seraphine turns back to his pilot console. Whenever you're ready, we can go to Flicker Road, to Bliss. Seraphine pokes the console in front of him. You have things you want to wrap up first? I understand, I would too. Here, Seraphine tosses an object across the cockpit. You catch it out of the air. Take that with you when you go to Bliss. It's good luck. You open your hand to see a familiar metal disc, a coin. It's engraved and rubbed away to a little more than a vague shapes and signs. Tala gave it to me. Now it's yours. You can't run from this forever, alright? He glances over his shoulder and smiles. We've done enough running anyway. He turns back to the console and returns to the diagnostics. Clear the cockpit and run a hand along the ribbed metal wall of the passage outside. Is it really possible you could forget all this, all the layers of memory of experience? Perhaps you can put it off a little longer. Take another tour around the belt, tie up loose ends, or perhaps you had enough of that. Why try to escape the inevitable? Try to recall how it felt when you woke after the lane interrupted the first reboot. Even that is fading in a hazy memory, told by an unreliable narrator. Maybe this is just the next step then, 1 of 1,000 that put you here, and the first of 10,000 more that will take you onward. Come out of your fort, still unsure, still aware of the decision of when to take the step ultimately risks with you. Oh, come on, what the heck now? Oh, this one. Cadet leads you deep into the heart of Darkside through the quiet corridors of bustling streets and paths you didn't know existed. Glad after her the station seemed to grow in your mind, its possibility multiplied by the routes that pass through it. Just through here, Cadet leads you across the covered bridge, the view of either side looking down caverns of lit units. This close to the center of Darkside, the air is warm and the passages are quiet. Here, Cadet smiles, this is the place. Bunks at a low and wide entrance with storage racks inside. Next door is a smaller unit with a window looking out of the passage. Seems like a workshop, perhaps abandoned or never finished. It is dusty and dark. You can keep an eye on it. It's abandoned. He glides inside and slaps the wall pad. Lights flicker on, illuminating a constellation of dust. She floats in the glittering specks. Why bring me here? When we've been on Darkside, I've been coming out here. I just happened across it, but I knew when I found it. I want to start again, Sleeper, she knocks on a metal wall, and this is where I'm going to make it start. What we saw in Hexport, what's left of it, just confirmed it to me. We can't stop Senate stat, much as we can't stop the war. She runs her finger across the storage racks. We have what? The drive, our suspicions, Senate stat is vast. How could we pin this to them, even if we wanted to? Look over the workshop, I don't want to think about it anymore. I want to start again, I want to work, to ride my bike and carry packages till I fall into my bed at the end of the day with nothing left. Cadet picks up an old corroded tool from the racks. I want to build something here, in spite of everything, in spite of the fact that they could take it all away, because that's the point. To go on living without conceding, to go on building and trying to build something where we can find it. That's what I brought you here to understand, so you know why I'm letting this all go. I understand. We could do the same, you know, cadet friends. We don't have to beat ourselves senseless against the truth. My whole life is gone. Clear my name on the first spindle doesn't matter. Spindle jacks will have forgotten me, but this place, that's much. It doesn't know me at all. You know where the drive is, what it contains. You know what happened at Hexport. Cadet's eyes shine in the workshop lights. Take it from me. It's yours now. I can't carry this anymore. We should do this together. There's no future in this sleeper, Cadet Foster. I'll be here building something. If you want to do that together, then we can, but not this. When travel's over, if you need to find me, I will be here, Cadet smiles. Thank you for all you have done. I hope you can understand why I need to do this. She turns and disappears deeper into the workshop. Across the bridge again, dark side glowing on all sides. Think of the drive buried deep in some compartment within the scattered yard's hub, filled with data worth destroying a station over. It is yours now. But you wonder as you cross back through the city, your mind racing, how can all this end well? I need... God damn it. So what do we have? We did this. So what does this one have now? Where are we, by the way? Oh, we are in the middle there. Okay. Guess as well finishing all these side stuff. back here, and then we go to Olivier, and then we go and still need to do some stuff here anyway, so. What did it say to? I need 2 more of it, damn it. Oh. God damn it. Brats. No, we're starving. That one took it all, huh? Yes, over there, I have everything prepared. Just give me a moment. You've been waiting for what feels like a long time. You insist you can't help, so you find yourself floating in the baking heat of the mainframe once she taps away at the terminal. As you do, you can't help but shake the feeling of a presence nearby, one that you're coming to understand as some remnant of Overseer. You don't know if Overseer was ever really a person, but now with the many selves combined and dispersed, the consciousness expanded to fill the vast space of the Hap-Up and its network, you surely aren't even close to human anymore. You think of them as ghosts, but perhaps now they are better understood as something less mournful, as a system, a process, a thing becoming. The entire station needs their body. You can't help but wonder how that feels. And we are ready. June hits a key on her terminal with percussive force. It will take a little while, but she will be online in a few moments. She looks flushed with excitement. Eh? Weren't you listening last time? June squints at you. Don't tell me you drifted off. I was thinking about Overseer. Juni shakes her head. Then you don't know. She suddenly looks concerned. A voice screeches out of the terminals. It descends in a pitch from a squeal to speaking. Down below, the mainframe of flickering projection appears first as lines and then as a solid light. Welcome, visitors. Warden flickers and warps. I'm the warden. Please provide. The image jerks and freezes, then blinks out. Shit! Juni taps the terminal. Just need to reconfigure her for the hub environment. The warden? Seriously? What? Juni doesn't look up from the terminal. I told you last time we need a way to process and understand all this data. Warden is perfect. This better not blow up in our faces. It won't. Juni glances over his shoulder. I've taken precautions. She can't hurt us. Technician is right. Warden's clipped the voice echo. My protocol is operating under safe mode limitations. Warden's blind eyes stare out over your head. Do not be concerned, Officer Dahl. Sorry, I'll fix that. Juni chuckles. Why the warden? Archiving was her role in the bunker. She's ideally suited to this. And she understands Solheim networks better than we ever could. Juni smiles. Come on, you have to admit this is pretty cool. You look at the test figure of the warden once at the heart of Solheim's intelligence gathering operations across the belt. Could such a tool to corporate oversight ever be used for something good? Look, watch this. Juni turns to Warden. Warden, provide the last known location of every Solheim vessel above rigger class in the Starward belt. Immediately, technician. Warden draws a circle with a pointed finger in the expanse filling with bright specks, at first hundreds and then 10,000s, a constellation of sights. See? Juni grins. This is our future, built on the foundation of our past. These tools are ours now. Look at the arc. Those specks, the point of light discovered in the shape of long-dead corporation's power. This is incredible. Juni smiles. It is. People need to know that what this city, this system is built on. Warden can do that, expose that. It will be us to reshape the ruins into something new. Knew when I saw that I couldn't leave her there, alone in the dark, a being in that dark pit, and I won't condemn another being to you. Juni looks at the placid warden. Human or not, how we treat her is a test of our own values, of the world we project. Data is not currency, it's not a commodity, it's a material output of a system, a structure, a society. Juni meets your eye. This will have a place to uncover the system for ourselves. Looks around the chaotic trails, wires, and floating terminals. Once I have cleared up a bit, she laughs. She and Juni spend a little longer in the mainframe, sorting cables and offering Warden casual queries. Not all of them return useful information, and Juni begins listing out the changes she will need to make. After a while, you both find yourself tiring, heads aching with all the fresh information you had crammed into them. So you close up the core and ascend back through the layers of the facility to Darkseid's surface. As you do, you feel the history of each strata, the layers that make up this place and the belt beyond. Now, more than ever, it feels tangible to you. It contains not only the past, but the promise of the future as well. Okay. We need fuel. Dispatch shift. Hey, we made 8 cryon. Woohoo. Okay, we go here, and then we go scrapyard. Nope. You're doing the other way then. You do this first. Get this done with. Another flicker in the dark before waking, and numbness that follows soon after. You wake slowly and stare out at the flicking stars and distant rocks of the belt. You let the force of fear and panic wash over you. You pass like soft dust of the belt, disappearing into darkness. You find yourself once more, as you do every morning, as you will continue to do, cycle after cycle until you can. You wonder what part of you has changed, what system is failing. Your frame is silent, his complaints only felt in your ambitious sensations. The glitch seems random, unpredictable, but also inevitable. It will only increase in number until you reboot yourself, but you do not know what lies beyond that. At least the glitches are dependable, familiar. The reboot is anything but. Workshop of Cadets that's your friend is just as the two of you left it. You remember the cycles you and Cadet spent in poring over the dark data, the strange fragments of the drone mine's protest seated among the cold code. Find the drive where the Cadet told you it would be, in a compartment under the padding of a bunk lined with a thick shielding that makes its contents undetectable. As you pull the drive out, the metal coal in your hands, you have a sudden urge to smash it to pieces, this object which escaped export when so many others didn't. When Senate Stat, and he was Senate Stat, you are sure that now decided to cover up what they were done. They first made sure that this drive would get out, that it would pass to the far spindle and then onward. Something went wrong, some miscommunication or mistake, that's all it was. A tiny slip and it all fell apart. Now the drive is in your hands instead. Turn it over your hands. You know the drive contains Conway access codes, control codes, and perhaps more besides. Data of great value, data that would win a war. You also know you're sick of thinking about it. You throw the drive against the wall without a second thought. It shatters, the metal case splitting and the brittle solid state storage inside cracking into pieces. Those pieces bounce around the metal walls of the rooms, splitting again until you float in a cloud of shards. You feel pinpricks of pain where some of those shards graze your skin, then you close up the workshop and leave. You get back to the rig, and as you do, a weight lifts with each corridor, each junction. As you board a transit shuttle that will take you to Marcus Yard, back to the rig, you think of Hexport and what is left of that place. You'll never forget what happened to the station. You will not let it steer your future. Cadets refuse to be sucked into that web of secrets, and now you refuse to. There will be no account of Senator Stat's crimes, there will be no reckoning. But there will be a life outside of the future they want for the belt. You know it. Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be able to do it. We don't want to hand it over to some other power. I don't think we have any work money here now. Okay, so that's that. Now we just need to do this. Whee! Stop! A shadow figure meets you in the docking tunnel. No saboteurs allowed! Hey kid, Seraphine glides forward and ruffles the figure's hair. Still playing sheriff? Nah, just bored, Alexander grins. What are you two doing here? He glides alongside you and Seraphine as you drift through the tunnel. None of your business, Seraphine pushes past. No offense, kid, but you aren't actually the sheriff around here. Pass through the familiar doors and back into Olivera, a surprisingly pleasant feeling, oddly, like coming home. You came! Cadence is there in the docking concourse waiting to greet you. I'm impressed. Seraphine's face immediately erupts into an uncontainable smile. Cadence turns to you. You two remember each other, right? Sleep to save the colony. Cadence says deadpan answer seemed intended to cover for Seraphine's awkwardness. Yeah, I remember them. The four of you descend down through the docking tower together and into Olivera itself. The colony looks much the same as when you left, though you pick up from Cadence that changes are coming. Corman's back with a vengeance since Darkside. Cadence smiled. He's all about expanding and improving the colony, which is why I asked you to come, Sierra. A nickname slips out for both Cadence and Seraphine. Clock it and glance at you. As you reach the core of the colony, you see the increased activity. There are more colonists than you remember, and they move back and forth with purpose, carrying crates and tools to shelter less than usual. We need all the help we can get to sort the place out. Cadence notices you're watching the stream of freight and people. Cameron wants to do some kind of event on an anniversary, I think, honor the founders and all that. Gonna be a big party, so I can't wait. So, Cadence looks between you and Seraphine. What do you think? After some colony manual labor, she grins. Seraphine gives a sideways glance, observing your response carefully. How could you say no? Okay. Man, this is gonna take some time. Why did they have to put so much for this? This to me feels like it's a little bit over the top, so to say. Have any? Don't see why they had to make it take so long to fix these. Feels like just a little bit over the top. Ah. Man, this is so... Okay, so it's only one counts for all. Good. Still feels unnecessary to many. Past cycles in Olivia have been busy enough to take your mind off most things. All the heavy lifting and manual work has been a welcome distraction from the looming specter of the second reboot. And the good mood of the others has been infectious. Seraphine has been almost annoyingly upbeat. His relationship with Cadence, the worst kept secret in the colony, but working alongside them, it's hard to ignore the deep feelings for each other. Xander has been happy because he has something new to rib Cadence about, and Seraphine, with his self-serious manner, is an easy target for pranks and teasing. Xander also hasn't been able to stop talking about the party, which he already seems to have decided would be one of the highlights of his youth. But now finally the cycle of the party has arrived. The canteen is done up with the hanging light strips waving gently in the asteroid's microgravity. Strips themselves salvaged from the emergency lighting of wrecked starships. The work stopped and all the colonies yet to arrive. You find the reboot filling your mind once again, growing like a shadow. Something on your mind there? The voice takes you by surprise. Trying to see a colonist you haven't met before, an older man in some sort of supported chair, his hair shot through with grey and his face sallow. Didn't mean to startle you, my apologies, his pale eyes scanning you. It just seemed like you might need some company. There's a strange look in his eyes that you can't quite place. He's looking at you like you have met many times before, but you have never seen him before in your life. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? He gestures to the canteen with its hanging lights, his chair propelling him forward with little puffs of air. Young people did such a good job. Warms my heart to see it like this. Never thought this rock could ever be a home. He looks sideways at you. Have we met us? He shakes his head. No. Sorry if I'm being a bit too familiar. Coughs a few shallow coughs. Just, you remind me of someone who did a lot for me. But let's not chat about me. I want to know about you. He turns his chair a little. What's eating you? The way you were staring at those light strips, it felt like they were about to leap down and strangle you. His chuckle becomes a cough. I'm afraid of the future. I can see that. I am myself most days. He sighs. After a certain point you realize it isn't going to get better, so all you have to wait for is things getting worse. This body of mine is a downward trajectory, that's for sure. But it's mine, and I've grown into it, and I guess in the end, I like it because it's mine. And it will carry me all the way to the end, and then go on and become something else entirely. I don't know why, but the thought always helps me. It coughs 3 times hard like gunshots. Colonel squints at you. Sorry, I'm not good with reassuring people, I just remember that, he smiles, but I do like chatting. Looks back at the light strips. Really love it, isn't it? Just beautiful. Look back at the light strips now as the hum of people arriving filters into the canteen. There is something in the air. Anticipation, the sense of a rare moment passing through. Something to hold on to, then let go. The light strips really are beautiful. When you turn back to the old colonist to agree with him, he is already gone. Hey, sleeper, Seraphine pushes through the now gathering crowd towards him. Got you a drink, he offers the pouch of some amber liquid. Hey, Cadence comes up alongside you and hugs you with one arm. I wonder where you were hiding. She smiles warmly at you with her infectious smile. Think about mentioning the old colonist to her, asking about him, but Seraphine hushes it to you. Carmen is about to start. You follow Seraphine's eyes to the front of the canteen where above the heads of the now quite large crowd of colonists, Carmen floats surveying the room. We meet this cycle, Carmen begins, his voice loud but clipped, formal in a way you haven't heard before. To first remember those founders of this colony, those lost and still with us. I never forgot the distress call that brought me here to the wreck of the Pilgrim Seed. I will never forget the scenes that greeted me, and I know some of you were there too. A rumble of acknowledgement moves through the crowd. I also know that many of you weren't, and many of you came here to take refuge from other troubles, and I would like you to be able to remember too. Glance at Cadence, her eyes fixed with incredible intensity on Carmen. They look wet in the glow of the light strips. There were thousands of refugees on the Pilgrim Seed, and too many, far too many were lost. Those from Ember's Step, Ember's Song, Ember's Heart, those were those from the Three Sisters, from Erlin's Eye. Many are not here in Oliveira any longer, taking their own paths across the belt and beyond. But we acknowledge them all. Remember them all, lost and found, present and absent, because without them there would be no colony here. Before the wreck, Oliveira was a handful of buried bays, a scrapper hideout, a place for old and tired mercenaries like me to hide themselves from the universe and forget what they had done. But when the Pilgrim Seed was wrecked, it brought the universe back to Oliveira, and I could not hide any longer. Carmen stares out across the crowd with a hard glare. Excuse me. We built this canteen from the Pilgrim Sea. We built our homes, our farms, our refinery. We built our independence from their failed hope. A rustle of discomfort goes through the crowd. Carmen pauses to let this settle. Do not be ashamed or afraid of this. We will remember this gift. We will build on it. This cycle and every cycle after. We will thank them with our actions. The crowd mutters agreement. Carmen takes a deep breath and straightens up. A weight seems lifted from him, the weight of testimony. Now, here in this room, with you, I will thank them with my laughter. A cheer goes up. I will thank them with my joy, with my celebration. Another roar of approval. We all thank them as loudly and as chaotically as we can. The room erupts into cheers and applause. Join in. You cheer and applaud too. You whoop and Seraphim laughs nearby. Then you feel a pair of hands on your arm, Cadence pulling at you, grinning and crying. And you feel another hand on your other arm, Seraphim dragging you into the crowd. Suddenly you're in the thick of the crowd, so many bodies in one room, dancing and spinning and shouting. It's like nothing you have ever seen. You notice the rest of the crew in the melee, flash of a familiar face here and there among the mass of colonists. You see Alexander being thrown up in the air by a group of different kids of different ages, laughing madly as he bounces off the ceiling. And for the rest of this cycle, you think about nothing else but the joy of those around you, and the joy it instills in you. You wake up in your berth, the same light that always shines on the bell shining incessantly through the window. You're slow to rise, slow to begin this fresh cycle. At some point, Seraphim rises back into the rig with no indication of whatever he slept on. Find him in the cockpit, leaning in the pilot chair, looking out the lights of Olivera and smiling. Good party, he chuckles. Not sure I've seen anything like it. How's Cadence? Then gives you a look. She's great. She loved seeing you let it all go. He smiles. I did too. Seraphim yawns and stretches. So, he sniffs. Olivera is all fixed up. Collins are happy. Blah blah blah. Wait to know. Back to dark side? If that's what you want. He grins. That's what we'll do. Seraphim pauses a moment, something passing over him that makes him shiver. Heard from Tala, he looks away. Wellspring is still in transition, but the Union Council is taking over. Kirk got what he wanted. Okay, will come down soon, but I'm not sure I'm ready to revisit that place yet. He looks at you and smiles. When I come back to Tala, I want to have something to show for myself, you know? I get it. Family, he shrugs. Maybe once the reboot is done, once the blockade is done, maybe we can visit then. Seraphim takes a breath. We get there some cycle soon. You're unsure if Seraphim is trying to convince you or himself. He stretches, taking off his feelings. For now, though, the belt is ours to explore. Olivera, I filled our fuel tanks, so really it's up to you where we go. He gets up while you were deciding I'm going to dig up some breakfast, and he glides out of the cockpit. You take a moment to look out across the tiny lights of Olivera, dwarfed by the crater and the wreck that sits at its far end. Not bad at all, you think. Yes, we have to go. Yeah, we go here. We don't have to do anything here. We just need to go. Oh, we are starving. I need to buy food. You notice that. Here we go. Reboot. You turn, Seraphim's gone over and over in your fingers as you stand in flicker rope, crowds pushing past on the way to whatever future awaits them. Your fingers glide over the worn metal as you imagine Seraphims have, Talas have, in moments of anticipation. Perhaps others before the cone came to be Talas have repeated the same ritual, the same nervous routine. But their fingers were human, born, not made. This intrusive thought makes you slip the coin into a pocket quickly as if it had delivered a shock. You hear a hiss as the door of the shop slides open, revealing Ankita. You see her eyes scan the crowds almost defensively before she spots you there and she nods in your direction. Hey Ankita. He looks around for a moment and approaches you. She looks tired, but her stubborn ferocity bubbles under the surface. Well, we are at the end here now. I did all the side stuff too, so yes as well. This is waiting for you, she nods back towards the shop, which I guess is why you're hanging around out here. Nervous? Of course, she looks around the crowd. Look, Sleeper, if you want my advice, you have to find a way to keep up with yourself. Change is constant, but sometimes you can get left behind. Kita looks away, the signs of Flicker Road reflected in her eyes. I just remembered. I owe you an explanation. I promise to tell you why I wanted Utsuba out if you managed it. She shakes her head. I guess I'm not very good with promises. So why did you? Kita is still staring at the signs. I grew up here, Sleeper. Did you know that? She doesn't wait for an answer. I came to the belt after the blessed eye. She pauses, not one to say it. When I had nothing left, this is where I came, and when I got here, my home was gone. He grimaces. Those Utsuba Basa had destroyed it and strangled the life out of it. So the prologue was good. I was looking for something to fight for on my own terms. Darkstar became that for me. She sighs. That's all you're getting. Promise kept. So how long was the prologue then? Was it? Yeah, well, did you last say something? You said 17. About 3 hours. There you go. I was looking for something to fight for on my own terms. Darkstar became that for me, she sighs. That's all you're getting. Promise kept. Kita looks over his shoulder. Look, Bliss wouldn't be happy if they saw me out here shouting to you when you're already late for your appointment. She smiles to herself, and I don't need more reasons for Bliss to be unhappy with me. He grabs you by the shoulders and steers you towards the shop's entrance. I'll catch you after, don't you worry. Pushes you towards the door and then turns away and disappears into the lights of Flicker Road. You take a final moment and then wheel yourself inside, leaving the glimmering lights and the shifting crowd behind. Bliss is perched at the console. They turn as you enter. Finally! You smile weakly. You were making me think you wouldn't show. I'm ready. I'm sure Seraphine told you, but everything is ready. Bliss gestures to 2 couches with straps, freshly built connectors, and a bundle of wires at one end. Hope we'll be comfortable for you both. Here's Flint. As you're getting some air, Flint leans in on the open doorway, watching you both. Their pale face looks even more drained of color than usual. Flint comes inside the shop and nods to you. Let's do this. To take a shaky breath. I'm ready. So was there a difficulty setting? So not, Moonwalker. Flint and Blitz go silent, and the sound of the crowd outside filters gently into the room, mixing with the whine of the air cycle and the hum of the terminals. There's not much more to say. Blitz looks at you both. Okay, they pause. Let's begin. Blitz helps you and Flint onto your couches. You settle there and slide your arms and legs under the strap that will keep you in place. The connector with its thick bundle of wires waves above your head. It's hard not to feel exposed lying here on your back, anticipating what is to come. It is even harder when the memory of waking up to this very same ceiling with its bundles of dangling tech and scratch plating forces itself into your mind. Been there before. Last time you woke up to fear and panic, woke to a desperate escape and a shattered mind. A reboot interrupted, the thought set you trembling. Then, staring up at the same ceiling, your trembling dissipates. After all, you're back here now. It means you survived this crisis, grew from it. You took the hit and bounced back unbeaten. All good here? Blizz's face floats into your vision. All good. Bliss smiles. How about you, Flint? Turn your head to see Flint lying beside you, stiff and still. They manage to a tight lift nod. Looking at Flint staring up at the ceiling like you were a moment ago, you feel a rush of sympathy. After all, they haven't faced this before like you have. They are stepping into a future they cannot see. You have been here before. Now you're just completing your journey. Reach out to Flint. Raise an arm, reaching across the gap between the couches, and your hand touches Flint's. They do not look at you, but they grip your fingers in theirs tightly. Flint's fingers feel different to human fingers. The thick vinyl skin, the repair patches, the pressure of the metal skeleton beneath. You know this is what your touch feels like too. The recognition is like a connection being made. Close your eyes and feel something flowing between the two of you. Solidarity so embodied that it reverberates within you. I'm connecting you to the terminal. Bliss's voice already feels distant, lost in the noise. Feel the cold click of the connector, the sense of flowing data. I'll be here when you wake up. In the dark you feel restless, you shuffle your fingers, adjust your position against the couch. It takes you a moment to notice the sound has gone, the rumble of the crowds, the hum of the machines. This detail unsettles you, and so you search for reassurance. You think of Bliss's words, I'll be here when you wake up. You focus on them, on the possibility of waking up, of being somehow renewed. But what would that renewal look like? Your eyes blinking into the lights of Flicker Row. Bliss, Seraphine, and a renewed Flint beside you. But what then? Dark side? The station, yes, with its thronging thousands. Where else be but the heart of the Starward Belt as it transforms? Put yourself in the city station just outside this door, perhaps among the bright signs. Or higher in one of the ramshackle towers that look down on the ceaseless flow of dark side. The projects of possibility make themselves known to you. The neon paths curl and split and branch across the dark surface. You choose one. Seraphine and the crew. Yes, the path that always bends back towards home, no matter how far it travels. The rig and the crew, some of you know now and some yet to be met, pushing out into the belt with a hold full of supplies and a contract in your mind. An image in the cockpit with Seraphine looking out the stars, the image multiplied many times with many moods and textures. But at the heart of it, an unspoken link between you and your pilot and a knowledge that Darkside will always be your home. You fly until your drive runs dry and the hull plates flake off and your bones become the scrap this place is built upon. Then you feel it, the instant pulling of a thread, the unraveling of your very self. The reboot comes on slow, an icy seeping into your mind. Little pieces of you flake off in the flow, fading with distance. You hear a voice, Bliss's voice, so far away now, you reach for it, stretch your every sense towards its familiar warmth. And starting the reboot, it is a whisper into the wind, pulled away from you the moment it is spoken. See you on the other side. All of a sudden you wish you could make it stop. Incessant entropy of time, the tumbling of rocks through space, getting further apart every cycle, disappearing into the vacuum ahead. The decay of cells, the degradation of code, the corrosion and rot and rust. You wish in this moment to freeze it all so you might hang on to it, preserve the warmth, the light, the softness at the heart of things. This thought grips you, tears into you like fear. You feel the ice creeping in and know that everything will be lost, if not now, then mere moments away. Then you feel it impossibly. Seraphine's coin, worn smooth by worry, turning in your hand. Time has been pressed into that coin by hands, by fingers. It is a near infinite record of transient touches, each one shaping it in some small way. It is worn and worthless, it is bent and broken, and it is beautiful in all of those things. And so you press your thumb against it, your crooked, calloused thumb, again and again, because you're a broken thing, and you have nothing left but that brokenness, and the beauty that shines through it. And then, somewhere nearby, a button is pressed, and all at once, one thing ends and something new begins. And that was it. I mean, the story and all that is really good in this game. You know, well, in both games. But this one had a little bit more fluff to it, like extra that it was a little bit unnecessary.